Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so the online world, it's noisy, right? Just saturated with content. Today, we're going to try and cut through some of that noise and talk about what really drives genuine social engagement. If you're building a brand or, trying to grow a community online, it's constantly changing. It can feel a bit overwhelming. That's why we're doing this deep dive, focusing on what works right now, heading into 2025. And when we say social engagement, we're definitely not just talking likes. Not anymore. We mean real interaction, comments that actually start a chat, shares, saves, those DMs that build connections, even just time spent watching or reading your stuff. It's basically the heartbeat of your online presence today. It's how you build real connections, credibility, how you figure out what your audience actually wants, and honestly, how you create that feeling of, belonging in these feeds driven by, who knows what algorithms.
That's such a critical point. It's moved so far beyond just those vanity metrics. It really is fundamental now. So yeah, our mission today, let's really dig into what makes people actually engage online in 2025 and give you some, actionable things you can do right away to connect better.
Okay, I'm ready. You mentioned people wanting to be part of something, not just consuming. So yeah, beyond those surface level numbers, what is it? What are the core things making someone stop that endless scroll and, actually interact? What are they looking for?
Right. Well, I boil it down to what I call the core trinity of engagement drivers. First up is relatability. This is stuff that just resonates, content that hits on their actual experiences, feelings, maybe their goal, or even like their struggles. When someone sees your content and thinks, oh, wow, yeah, I get that, or I felt exactly like that, that's when it connects. Think about a creator maybe sharing a day in the life that shows the messy parts of their job, not just the perfect outcome. That often sparks comments like, finally, someone's showing reality because, it's relatable.
Mm-hmm. Seeing the realness.
Exactly. And second, there's value. Mm-hmm. Is your content teaching them something?
Yeah.
Entertaining them? Inspiring? Maybe solving a little problem they have? If there's a clear benefit, they'll stick around, they'll interact. Mm-hmm. They might even tell others, because they're getting something genuinely useful. And it's not just about dumping info, it's making it easy to grasp, maybe actionable, like a quick tutorial or a short pep talk that actually shifts their perspective.
Yeah.
That's value.
Okay. Relatable, valuable. What's the third?
The third, and honestly, I think this is the most crucial one right now, is authenticity. People have a built-in radar for fakeness online these days. You can spot it a mile off. They're craving real connections, actual conversations, a human touch. So that means showing up as well as you, quirks and all, not some super polished, perfect version. When you're genuine, maybe a bit vulnerable, share the real stuff, even the messy behind the scenes, people feel safer engaging. They see a person, not just a logo. And this authenticity, it builds community. It builds loyalty in a way that algorithms just can't copy. It's about trust.
Relatability, value, authenticity. It sounds simple, doesn't it? Almost like common sense. But you see so many creators, brands even, miss this stuff. They're chasing virality, maybe jumping on every trend. Why do you think it gets overlooked so often? Is it just that pressure, the pressure to perform?
I think that's a huge part of it, yeah. That pressure is real. There's this feeling you have to look perfect or always be doing the next big thing. But, real authenticity often means embracing the imperfections. I've seen brands share these super clean, staged, behind-the-scenes videos. It feels manufactured. Then maybe a competitor posts, like a quick blooper reel or a messy shot of their team brainstorming.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that connects. It feels human.
Yeah, that distinction is key. Appearing authentic versus being authentic. The audience feels the difference. Okay, so those are the foundations. Let's talk strategy. What kinds of content are actually, moving the needle for engagement right now? What formats are working in 2025?
Yeah, definitely. Content-wise, short-form video is still huge, no denying that. Reels, Shorts, TikTok, they're designed for that quick hit. But like we just said, it's not just using the format, it's what you do with it. The creators getting real engagement. They're doing quick tutorials, sharing surprising facts, telling tiny stories, showing transformations fast. They're packing value into those seconds.
Right, maximizing the format.
Exactly. And then beyond video, interactive stuff is key. You got to invite people in. Think polls, quizzes, those question stickles you see in stories, doing live Q&As. These things directly ask your audience to join in, share their opinion, ask you something. It shifts them from just watching to actually participating. Even a simple poll like, what should I cover next, gets way more interaction than just stating something. Gives them a say.
So it's much less broadcasting, more inviting conversation.
Precisely. Starting the dialogue. And speaking of dialogue, relatable stories are still incredibly powerful Could be a personal story about a challenge or a real behind-the-scenes look, the messy version, remember? Or featuring your audience's stories, user-generated content. People connect with stories, always have. They build bridges. And here's one that gets missed a lot but is so important. Actively engaging in the comment section. It's not just about getting comments. You got to reply. Ask follow-up questions right there. Start mini conversations in the threads. It shows you're listening, you care, and it actually encourages more comments.
That comment section point feels so basic, but yeah, so often ignored. It really is a two-way street. If you're not there, why should they be? Okay, let's shift to logistics then, because brilliant content can still kind of flop if the timing's wrong. Is there a secret sauce for timing? When to post? How often? Does it vary a lot?
The million-dollar question, the magic timing, right? Well, look, there's no single perfect answer for everyone, but we do see trends. Generally, for a lot of platforms, you often see higher engagement sort of mid-morning to early afternoon on weekdays. Think roughly maybe 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Monday through Thursday. That's a decent starting point for many.
Okay, general window.
Yeah, and this is big, but it really depends on your specific audience and when they're online. Like, on Instagram, lots of people see engagement spike late afternoon, early evening, people winding down from work or school. YouTube. Consistency is probably more important than exact time, but often evenings or weekends work well for longer stuff. LinkedIn, naturally, being professional, peaks during work hours, mornings, lunch breaks.
That makes sense. My LinkedIn feed definitely blows up midday, so if there's no single magic bullet, what's the real guide?
The real gold standard. It's your analytics. Always. Every platform gives you insights into when your followers are most active. That data is tailor-made for you. Use it. And my philosophy on how often to post? Simple. Consistency beats volume every time. It is much, much better to post, say, 3 or 4 really high-quality, engaging pieces a week than to force out 7 rushed, mediocre posts. Quality over quantity absolutely wins for engagement. Make each post count.
Consistency trumps sheer volume. Okay, that's a bit of a truth bomb right there. I know so many people, myself included, sometimes feel that pressure. Post every day. And yeah, it leads to burnout, diluted content, but it's hard to shake that mindset.
Oh, it is. It's a really common trap. But think of it this way. Focusing on quality also respects your audience's time. They're more likely to tune in consistently if they know what you post is usually worth their time, rather than wading through daily noise. It can actually build anticipation.
That's a great reframe. Okay, so for listeners who are maybe just starting or maybe feeling a bit stuck posting but not getting much back, can you give us like 3 simple practical tips? Things that could literally try today or tomorrow to boost interaction. Stuff that doesn't need a big budget.
Absolutely. Okay, 3 things you can genuinely try right now. First, ask open-ended questions. Don't just make statements. End your captions, your videos, your stories, whatever, with a question that actually invites a thoughtful answer, not just yes or no. Instead of just, here's my new thing, try what's one challenge you're facing that this idea product could maybe help with, or what's your biggest takeaway from this? How might you use it? Make it easy for them to jump in.
Lower the barrier to entry.
Exactly. Second, go behind the scenes. People love seeing the real stuff, the process, the human side, not just the shiny end result. Share a quick clip of your workspace, maybe prepping for something like this, even a funny mistake or blooper. It makes you human, relatable, instantly, and it doesn't need to be polished. Often, the less polished, the more authentic it feels. That's where connection happens.
Let the messy show a bit. Okay.
Yep. And third, especially if you're trying to build momentum, respond to every single comment. Now, okay, this might not scale forever if you get huge, but early on, it's incredibly powerful. It shows you really appreciate people taking the time. It encourages more comments because they know you'll actually see it and reply. And it tells the algorithm, hey, conversation happening here. Even a simple thanks for sharing that or asking a quick follow-up based on their comment goes a really long way. It's investing in your community.
Those are super practical. Love them. Especially the respond to every comment one. It really does make people feel seen, doesn't it? And that's huge. Okay, speaking of challenges, we actually got a listener question that I think hits home for a lot of people. This is from Priya. She writes basically, I post every single day, but nobody engages. What am I doing wrong? What advice do you have for Priya and, anyone else in that frustrating spot?
Oh, Priya, yeah, that feeling is so common. You are definitely not alone there. And honestly, it's probably less about doing something fundamentally wrong and more about maybe needing a few strategic shifts. Posting daily shows commitment, which is great, but if the content isn't hitting those core notes, relatability, value, authenticity, then yeah, the consistency alone won't guarantee engagement.
So what are those shifts?
Okay, Practical advice for Priya. First, really revisit who your audience is. Like, take a fresh look. Are you creating content for them? Or more just broadcasting what you find interesting? Dive into your analytics again. Who are these people following you?
Yeah.
What are their actual problems, questions, interests, goals? Then consciously tailor your content to actually speak to those things. Sometimes we just need to reframe our message through their lens.
Get out of your own head a bit.
Exactly. Second, and this links back to what we said earlier, prioritize quality over quantity. Seriously consider this. Instead of the daily grind, maybe try focusing on just 2 or 3 really strong, valuable, engaging posts per week. Use that extra time to make the visuals better. Write more compelling captions with clear calls to action. Maybe experiment with reels or shorts if you haven't. When you create less, you can invest more in making each piece really good. Think of it like making each post an event, not just noise.
Okay, less frequency, more impact.
Precisely. And third, be an active engager yourself. Remember that two-way street. Before expecting lots of engagement on your stuff, schedule some time to genuinely engage off your stuff. Go comment thoughtfully on posts from others in your niche or people you think are your target audience. Real comments, not just emojis. Share their cool stuff. With credit, obviously.
Yeah.
Participate in relevant conversations. The more you give, the more you tend to get back. Plus, it helps the platforms understand who you are and connect you with the right people. It's like planting seeds.
That's fantastic advice. It really hammers home that social part of social media. It's interaction, it's reciprocal, not just shouting into the void. It's about building an actual community, right? Not just collecting followers. And yeah, that takes effort on both sides.
Exactly. True connection. It takes work, absolutely, but the payoff is huge.
Okay, so as we start to wrap this up, this has been incredibly insightful. Do you have one final thought, a last piece of advice on boosting engagement you want to leave listeners with?
Yeah, I think my final thought would be this. Don't be afraid to experiment. Seriously. Treat every post, every piece of content as kind of mini experiment. This whole landscape changes so fast, like daily sometimes. What worked last month might not work now. What works today might be different tomorrow. So stay curious. Try new formats, play with trends, but authentically, remember. And crucially, don't get discouraged if something doesn't land perfectly. Learn from it. What did work? What didn't? Adapt. Keep going. Honestly, the accounts with the best engagement, the most loyal communities are often the ones most willing to evolve, to try things, to learn from successes and failures.
Don't be afraid to experiment. I love that. It's empowering. Thank you so much. It's been incredibly helpful. So many practical takeaways. And now, to you, our listener, time for a little challenge. Based on everything we dove into, I want you to pick just one of those 3 simple tips we discussed earlier and actually try it this week. Just one. Will you ask a really good open-ended question in your next post? Get a real conversation started, or maybe you'll share a genuine, maybe slightly messy, behind-the-scenes moment. Show that human side. Or will you commit, just for this week, to responding to every single comment you get? Really nurture that connection. Pick one. Do it. See what happens. Think about how truly leaning into the social part, not just the media part, could change things for you online. Remember, this digital journey, it's all about learning and connecting. It never really stops. So keep learning, keep experimenting, and definitely keep connecting. Until next time, happy engaging.